Good evening. It's such a pleasure to have you all join us for the Clinical Lab Science Department pinning ceremony, where we get to celebrate the accomplishments of the 2021 graduating class of medical laboratory technicians. I'm Susan Schneider. I am the Clinical Lab Science Department Chair and Program Director, and I'm joined on the stage by Dean Christopher Scott, the Dean of the School of Health and Patient Simulation, and then our faculty and staff for the Clinical Lab Science Department, Professor Carolyn Kozlak, Professor Lindsay Snow, and Lorraine McIver. Before we begin our ceremony, I want to offer my sincere thanks to the college administration and staff who worked diligently to make tonight's in-person ceremony a reality. I never thought we'd be here, but here we are, and we're very grateful. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a member of the faculty, Professor Lindsay Snow, with a glimpse into the laboratory profession.
I'm Lindsay Snow, and I'm a grad in STCC MLT class of 2015. When I was enrolled in the program, the professors always told us that there was a bright future ahead for newly certified techs, and they were right. There were a lot of opportunities in all areas of the laboratory, and this is true for the grads in the class of 2021. Well-trained certified techs are in great demand, and the opportunities are many. Over the past 15 months, the laboratory and those who work in it have become much more visible to the public for their tireless work with COVID testing and diagnosis. Regardless of this focus, most people don't really know what laboratory professionals do. To shed a little light on the work that our grads will do as medical laboratory technicians, we would like to share a video with you today.
If you need blood, I'll be there to find you a perfect match. And yes, there's more to it than ABO and RH.
You name it, I can discover it. Our tasks are limitless. All I need is a little body fluid.
It's as if we're detectives working together to solve your case.
Medical laboratories account for 70% of medical decisions and diagnose and treat you.
Having fertility issues? I'll find out for you.
I can look at a blood smear for 1 second and tell if you have iron deficiency, sickle cell anemia, or leukemia, and the list goes on and on.
I can discover your grandfather's prostate cancer early enough for a successful recovery.
It is rewarding. I go home every day knowing that I made a difference in people's lives.
Lab Science Department faculty member, Professor Carolyn, who will present the department awards.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I have the honor of announcing the winners of our departmental awards. Each year, the Clinical Laboratory Science Department gives out 2 awards, the Medical Laboratory Science Award and the Medical Laboratory Science Professional Award. I'm going to start with the Medical Laboratory Science Professional Award. This award is presented to the graduating student who has achieved and demonstrated professionalism and excellence in the clinical aspect of the 2-year medical laboratory technician program. Now, all of our students have performed well in their clinical rotations, but this year's recipient has fully demonstrated that she is a professional and has been described by her clinical site preceptors as flexible, personable, easy to work with. We have seen her handle difficult situations with grace and maturity, and she's also very strong academically. This year's recipient is Kayla Bresnahan. Please come up, Kayla. The second award is the Medical Laboratory Science Award. This award is presented to the graduating student who has achieved excellence in the clinical and academic aspects of the 2-year curriculum in the Medical Laboratory Technician program. This year's recipient demonstrated outstanding achievement academically, earning an amazing GPA of 3.95 amidst the very difficult curriculum in the MLT program. This year's recipient is Emily Gardner.
Thank you, Professor Kozlak. This has been a year like none other. This class was thrust from in-person learning to online learning in the span of 1 week. Not only that, they had to attend summer lab boot camp in order to meet all the objectives for the program. And they did it donned fully in a mask, an N95, lab coats, gloves, face shields, goggles, and then not only that, they had to observe a 6-foot distance from each other. Good times. However, this group truly did it with a smile on their face, at least most of the time. They endured this transition, which became their new reality, with grace and flexibility. They also participated in clinical practicum during this unprecedented time. The students got to see COVID testing up close and personal, and they witnessed the role that the laboratory plays in the health and well-being of every human being. I'd like to take a moment to recognize all of our clinical partners from Life Laboratory, from Cooley Dickinson Hospital, from Bay State Medical Center, and Holyoke Medical Center, who consistently provide outstanding training and mentoring. I'd ask all the clinical faculty who are here with us tonight to stand, and I ask you to join me in a round of applause. Thank you. Before we meet the class of 2021, I also want to recognize and thank all the family members and friends who are here tonight. You are the people who supported and encouraged these students as they worked to transform their lives. Your presence, kind words, and efforts were so valuable, and I dare say these would not have achieved their goals of becoming an MLT without you. So thank you from all of us. Now, what you've been waiting for. Let us introduce the MLT class of 2020. We have a few little-known facts about this class that we thought you would like to know about. Did you know 13 out of 13 of these students maintained a job while enrolled in this rigorous program? 6 of those folks had gained valuable experience by working as lab assistants while in the program.
Did you know 5 students have previously earned college degrees? And 3 students have been raising young children while enrolled in the program.
Did you know that 2 of our students in the program are military veterans, both of whom were awarded the Good Conduct Medal? One was also awarded the Air Force Achievement Medal. The other was awarded the Army Commendation Medal. I'd like to ask Karen Shalou and Kyle Romansky to join me on the stage. Most years, military veterans are awarded their military cords and receive their coin at graduation in recognition of their accomplishments. Because this isn't most years, they were not able to be honored in that way. So I have the privilege of presenting them tonight and to once again thank them for their service.
Did you know the Clinical Laboratory Science Department awards a scholarship each year? There is a memorial scholarship that was established by our Clinical Lab Science Department in 2012, the Marian Tomlinson Clinical Laboratory Scholarship Award. Marian Tomlinson was a full-time student. She was a single mother of 3, and she was fighting cancer for the 3rd time in her life. She attended every class, showing unwavering dedication to completing the program, despite the fact that she was undergoing treatments. She lost her battle in January of 2012, just before she was going to go to her clinicals. Her classmates, they showed the same dedication by fundraising to establish this fund for her, and we have been keeping it going for 9 years. We have an infinity plaque that hangs in our laboratory, and the recipient is the applicant that shows that same level of commitment to professionalism. This year, we're glad to add the name Kayla Bresnahan to that plaque. So please come up so you can take a look, Kayla.
One of the things we will remember about this class was how academically sound each of them were, but they achieved a grade point average of 3.4, which is no small feat during this challenging time and in this challenging program.
We asked this year's class to share a few of their most memorable moments while enrolled in the MLT program, and here are some of their responses. I enjoyed the group work. It was good to get other input from classmates on topics and interacting with new people. The phlebotomy class. Doing sticks on other classmates is a nervous, scary thing. Things clicked in clinical practicum in a way that they didn't in class because I could actually work with real patients. Getting a completed evaluation sheet from a clinical rotation with a glowing review, a real confidence builder. The great friends I made and the awesome learning experience. My peers. I walked in thinking, it's only 2 years, I don't need anyone. I can honestly say that the people I've met, I couldn't have made it without them.
In like fashion, we asked class members some of the most rewarding aspects of the STCC MLT program. Thinking I couldn't do it, but ending up finishing, best feeling. Being in a well-organized, informative, and challenging program that really prepares you for the real world. Knowing that the faculty of this program goes above and beyond to ensure our success has been rewarding and made our experience better and easier despite how challenging the program can be. Finally knowing where I'm meant to be.
So we'd like you to meet each of our seniors, soon-to-be graduates, individually, as we present their pins. We're going to share with you some of our reflections about each of the individual students. We're going to share the words that their classmates used to describe them, and then share any reflections that the students submitted. So we're going to get started. Our first student is Kayla Bresnahand. So Kayla was one of the first persons who was in the door for class, when we had in-person class, in the morning, and she always had a big smile on her face. Not only that, she's very brave, because you know when the professor asks a question and nobody answers? Well, Kayla would try. She would give us a try. So we really appreciate that, Kayla. Thank you. She also became the honorary class mother, making sure that all of her classmates were well and everything was okay. She worked at Cooley Dickinson Hospital as a lab assistant during her time in the program and performed her clinical practicum at Life Laboratories.
Kayla's classmates describe her as kind, bubbly, helpful, dedicated, creative, and a team leader.
These are the words that Kayla would like read. I'm so grateful to have been able to go through the MLT program with such wonderful people. I want to sincerely thank Bentley, Riley, my parents, friends, and classmates who I've been able to vent to, cry to, and laugh with along the way. This program brought many challenges and successes from which allowed me to learn and grow. I also want to say thank you for being awarded the Marian Tomlinson Award this year. I'm beyond grateful and honored to be the recipient, and as I will always be encouraged to continue to show professionalism, commitment, and dedication as a medical laboratory technician. I'm incredibly proud of myself and every one of us in this program. We did it. Kayla, please come up and get your pin. Our next student is Karen Shalou. Karen is a family legacy, as her brother Dan is a grad of the class of 2015, along with Professor Snow. Karen is, as you saw, a military vet from the U.S. Air Force. We always remember about her, she had the best lab-themed t-shirts, so we will always remember her for that. She worked in the lab at Quest Diagnostics as a lab assistant her time in the entire program, and then she performed her clinical practicum at Holyoke Medical Center.
Karen's classmates describe her as motivated, determined, witty and funny, strong, caring, and confident.
And these are the words Karen would like read. There were times throughout this program I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. I'm so glad I did, since I had known for quite some time that this is where I wanted to be. I really want to thank my baby Emma. Everything I have done has been for you, to give you a better life. Even though you hate mommy going to work and school, you are doing an amazing job, and I love you more than forever. To my mom, when I say I couldn't have done it without you, I am not kidding. We definitely had our rough days, but you are one incredible person to have supported me retiring so I could come home and go to work. You are the reason why I am thriving, and I love you. To my brother, thank you for letting me know about this career field and the advice. I'm okay if people know me as Dan's sister. I'm pretty thankful and darn proud of that. To all my friends, I came into this program knowing it was going to go by quickly, and I didn't expect friendship. Professor Schneider didn't help, as she relentlessly, with her talk in turns and what felt like endless group projects. But now I understand. I didn't realize how much I needed to vent, the laughs, the filling in the gaps, and the keeping each other accountable on the hardest days. That's what helped push me through. I know I wouldn't be here without you guys. From my soul sister Kayla, to Sam, my forever lab partner, to Kyle, my fellow vet, and finally Griffin. Oh, Griffin, so sassy. You made this program fun. We all did. With all of our unique personalities, we brought something different that just seemed to work. I'm so happy to be a clinical lab tech with you guys, knowing that I can see you again and work with you in the future. You guys are really the best, and we finally made it, and that's truly something to be proud of. Karen, please come forward for your pin. Our next graduate is Luis Diaz. Luis was a great student to teach. He found everything very interesting, and he came with the most thoughtful questions. Sometimes we just didn't have answers to. He took a few minutes before he would approach the bench to attempt any new lab procedure, and he took time to really understand what he was doing and why. This will serve him well in this field. Lewis worked at Bay State Medical Center, first in the facilities department, and then he obtained a job as a lab assistant, so he worked the entire time he was in the program. He also completed his practicum at Bay State Medical Center.
Lewis's classmates describe him as quiet, smart, understanding, polite, thoughtful, and calm.
Lewis, please come up and get your pen. Our next grad is Samantha Dominique. During the time in the program, Sam first worked in retail. She had unbendable schedule that made it really hard for her to get in all her studies as well. And then she became a lab assistant at Life Laboratories, where she also performed a clinical practicum. Sam is the definition of a bench tech. Oops. She's confident, calm, competent, and when she works at the bench, you know that that's where she's meant to be. And she did all this confidence and calm work while keeping certain lab partners in line. Griffin.
Sam's classmates describe her as a natural lab leader, quick, clever, confident, quiet, and sorry, Sam, also a procrastinator.
And these are Sam's words. This has been a crazy 2 years. I wouldn't have done this without two of my closest friends, Jose and Jack. They've supported me nonstop during this journey, and I am forever grateful. I would also like to thank Ben for supporting me the last couple of years through this program. It hasn't been easy, and I couldn't have done it without you or margaritas. Samantha, come up for your pen, please. Our next grad is Griffin Gaudreau. Griffin. You know those students always remember? Yep, Griffin. During his time in this program, he juggled his studies while working at Geisler Supermarket, and he performed his clinical practicum at Bay State Medical Center. Although we joke, Griffin emerged as a very strong, competent bench tech. Once he decided that this really was the career for him, he was full steam ahead and was driven to succeed. He was always good for a joke or two.
Griffin's classmates describe him as funny, kind, confident, smart, honest, and sarcastic, which we would like to note we think was submitted by Griffin himself.
Griffin, please come to the stage and Our next grad is Emily Gardner. Emily, or TJ as we call her, worked as a waitress during her time in the program, until COVID that is. The skills she learned at the restaurant have served her well because she can keep her cool under pressure, follow verbal instructions, and is able to multitask like nobody's business. She was a great member of the class, always willing to take a shot at those answers, along with Kayla, trying to get those answers to questions, and asking very thoughtful and provocative questions herself. She performed her clinical practicum at Cooley Dickinson Hospital.
TJ's classmates describe her as focused, clever, dedicated, kind, ambitious, and knows her stuff.
And these are words that TJ would like read. My parents, Laurel and David, who are watching from home, your belief in me means everything. I love you. Thank you to my friends who are always understanding when I drop off the map for weeks at a time. That happened a lot during this program. But you knew I'd get here even when I wasn't so sure. Let's have fun this summer. And to the instructors of this program, you kept this program alive for us during a time when it was exceptionally hard to be a student or a teacher. Your dedication to every one of us made this evening possible. Susan Schneider, Carolyn Kozlak, Lindsay Snow, Lorraine McIver, thank you. TJ, please come forward and receive your pin. Nestle Gutierrez. Nestle worked at Bay State Medical Center as a lab assistant during her time, the entire time she was in the program, and she also performed her clinical practicum there. She used her time as a lab assistant well. She became very comfortable with the lingo and the practices, so much so that she had an easy, confident way of approaching the bench. From the moment she was accepted into the program, she was determined to succeed. She knew that the field was for her and strived in her studies and her clinical to achieve that goal.
Nestle's classmates described her as friendly, kind, considerate, happy, fun, and hardworking.
And these are the words that Nestle would like read. I would like to start off by saying thank you to my family for always being there through this journey. I would also like to thank all the professors in this program for always going above and beyond for their students. Being part of this program has been such a rewarding experience, and I could not thank you all enough. Nestle, please come forward and receive your pen. Lanesha Martinez. Get her up there. There we go. Lanesha worked during her time in the program and performed her clinical practicum at Life Laboratories. Quiet and unassuming, you might miss how competent she is at the bench. But over time, it was plain to see that Lenacia was a natural-born tech. Her care and concern for quality results for her patients came through in all of her work. She was eager to learn and willing to adapt to become the best tech that she can be.
Lenacia's classmates described her as nice, a good listener, quiet, hardworking, unique, and determined.
Lenacia would like you to know, I want to start by my family, especially my parents, my supporters throughout these 2 years. I know it wasn't easy. I want to also give my thanks to Zen for being my biggest cheerleader. I won't forget you trying to pull an all-nighter with me when finals came around, even though it wasn't the case for you an hour after we got started. That's the thought that counts. My final thanks have to go to my professors in the class of 2021, especially my great friends Neshle and Lewis. Thank you for making this experience so memorable. We did it. Lenacia, please come forward and receive your pen. Fong Wen. Now, Fong performed her clinical practice at Cooley Dickinson Hospital, and she gets the award for the best Zoom backdrops, because we had a lot of Zoom classes, and she was at the beach sometimes, sometimes she was in the forest. But she took her studies seriously and was very successful academically. But she really blossomed when she attended clinical practicum. When I would go out to clinicals to visit, she would always be so excited to tell me all the new things she had learned and experienced in her time there.
Fong's classmates describe her as quiet, competent, poised, professional, reliable, and talented.
These are the words of Fong. To my professors, when I had a problem, you were there to help me. When I was worried about something, you always gave me good advice to keep me up. You have been so much more than teachers. To me, you have been mentors, supporters, my guide. Thank you for everything you have done. And one more thing, I would like to thank my family. They're always by my side, even when I am up or at the very bottom. Together with me, we got through all of this. I will make you proud, dear Mom. Fong, please come up and receive your pen. Our next grad is Giselle Ojeda. When Giselle was a phlebotomist at Bay State Medical Center, and that's where she also performed her clinical practicum. Now, being a phlebotomist, she was a great help to her classmates as they began the daunting task of sticking needles in each other's arms. Not only did she work, she also embarked on the program as a new mom, no small task. We have to admit that we professors are a little envious, though. She is the only person we know who looks great as a blonde, a brunette, a redhead, or even with purple and blue hair.
Giselle's classmates describe her as a fast learner, friendly, kind, caring, energetic, and approachable.
And these are Giselle's words. I'm grateful for my family, and especially my husband, for supporting me through this program. Thank you to my son for being my smallest and yet biggest motivator, and he doesn't even know it. Giselle, please come forward and receive your pen. Casey Ports. Casey worked at her family business while she was enrolled in the program, and she performed her clinical practicum at Holyoke Medical Center. Now, Casey's a woman of few words, but when she speaks, she makes those words count. She has great questions and great insights. While in clinical practicum, she really worked diligently, and she honed her skills on each and every rotation that she was in.
Casey's classmates describe her as soft-spoken, resourceful, considerate, calm, helpful, and reserved.
And these are Casey's words. I would like to thank Professors Schneider, Kozlak, Snow, and Lorraine for making me fall in love with the MLT profession. Going into the program, I was not completely sure if this would be the career path I wanted to follow. Their hard work, dedication, and willingness to meet each individual student's needs kept me engaged and motivated. I leave this program feeling prepared and excited to start a new journey as an MLT. Casey, please come forward and receive your pen. Our next grad is Kyle Romansky. Now, as you saw, Kyle is a veteran, a military veteran of the U.S. Army National Guard, and performed his clinical practicum at Life Laboratories. Kyle has a can-do attitude. Even when he's faced with really difficult tasks, he perseveres and gives his best effort. And he does all this without losing his good nature and his sense of humor.
Kyle's classmates describe him as easygoing, supportive, funny, hardworking, genuine and honest, and kind.
Kyle, please come forward and receive your pen. Benna Salerno. Benna worked full-time at American Honda while she was enrolled in the program, and she performed her clinical practicum at Bay State Medical Center. Now, Benna really cares about the material she is learning, and she asks very thoughtful, inquisitive questions. Lots of questions, but great ones. She exhibits a great amount of maturity and knows herself very well. She demonstrated discipline in her studies and in her career pursuits.
Benna's classmates describe her as kind, hardworking, sincere, responsible, studious, and inquisitive.
And these are Benna's words. Everyone loves to extol the virtues of a self-made person and pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. And it is absolutely important to take responsibility for oneself. But it is just as important to appreciate those who help along the way. I am lucky to say that for me, that's a long list. To start with, the professors, classmates, and clinical site coordinators who always took the time to help me understand the material. I also have my family and friends, many of whom couldn't be here today. Though you couldn't help me with the material, you were always there to listen to me and offer unconditional reassurance and support. It is with great pride that I tell you now, your support is paid off. I made it. Thank you for everything. Benna, please come forward and receive your pin. And here they are, the class of 2021. Don't tell masks on. It's been fun recognizing each of these amazing individuals for their work over the past 2 years. They now embark on a career that is filled with opportunity and promise, but one which bears a great deal of responsibility. As laboratory professionals, they have a primary duty to the patient, placing the welfare of the patient above their own needs and desires and ensuring that each patient receives the highest quality care according to current standards of practice. They have a duty to their colleagues and to the profession to uphold the dignity and respect of the profession and maintain a reputation of honesty, integrity, competence, and reliability. And they have a duty to society to contribute from their sphere of professional competence to the general well-being of society. So as a demonstration of their commitment to the profession and their duties, I invite Dean Christopher Scott to come forward and lead the new MLT graduates in the Pledge of the Profession.
Thank you, Professor Snyder. Before I get started, I just want to take a moment to thank everyone for coming tonight. To the graduates, the class of 2021, I want to say a heartfelt congratulations to you. 2 years ago, you sure didn't sign up for a program that looked like it did, but you had the ability to overcome, and we are more than proud of you. To our faculty, I have the pleasure to oversee many programs here at the college, but none better than this program. If I were to take a book out of their page and describe our faculty and staff, I would use the words brilliant, caring, dedicated, and humble. And they truly represent that. They not only support you as students, but they support all the departments. They help mentor and they help lead. and I'm forever thankful to each of them, especially more than ever during the COVID. So thank you. If we can give them a round of applause, I'd greatly appreciate it. To the grads, I just want to take a minute and remind you to say thank you. Say thank you to your family, to the people that you surround yourself with, your support group. They've been on this journey for 2 years with you, and it's been a challenge for them. And so to each of them, I say thank you, and let's give each of them a round of applause too. For each of you during your studies, you really had to learn to pivot. You know, as we said, the first semester went really well. Second semester, we're heading to spring break. We're going to have a good time, try to get a few days off, and boy, did the world change. But really, I can't commend you enough for your ability to pivot, the ability to change your learning styles, the methods, to hang in there, to spend more time than you expected during last summer learning and the hands-on, but yet you continued to overcome. And we can be, as I said, prouder with each of you. So now that we're at the end of the journey and you're getting ready to go out and really perform a profession that doesn't get enough credit, you really change lives, you save lives. And I think while you appreciate more than ever all the nasal swabs that each of you had to be able to go out and do your clinical, and you understood why we did them, we're also happy to be, because of people like yourselves, able to no longer have to do them as we get vaccinated. So with that said, I want to say congratulations. Go out there and continue to make a difference, change lives. And one last thing we have to do is a pledge. So if each of you could stand with me. I'm going to read off the first. I'll have you read it with me. You'll read each of the bullet points. I'll say the last sentence, and then you'll say I will. And then we'll get through this, okay? So I'll start off by saying, as a medical laboratory professional, I pledge to uphold my duty to patients, the profession, and society by. And I'll have you start with each of those bullet points. If you could read those, please. Will you actively demonstrate your commitment to these responsibilities throughout your professional life? Congratulations.
That the medical laboratory pinning ceremony. Thank you all for joining us, and I invite you to stop by the STCC backdrop by this gazebo where you can take some pictures on your way out. Again, congratulations to the MLT class of 2021, and I hope you will all have a safe and happy summer.
Yeah.